Good morning, everyone. 12 p.m. Monday. Who's on? Who's on? Thanks for joining. I usually give everybody about a minute to join and then I start. My lives are always at the same time. They're Mondays, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and Thursdays, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hold an additional live for my Facebook group only every other Saturday at 1 p.m. or so. I announce it on my Facebook group. Thank you for joining. This is an educational account about setting the correct mindset and bringing forth the life you want. It's also called manifestation. I just find that manifestation has gained this magical connotation and meaning for the very esoterical, and it's not that at all. We're manifesting all the time. We're bringing forth the life that we set in our mindset. So it goes to follow that we can bring forth any life that we choose by setting our mind properly. Hi to all the new members. I had a video that went viral this Friday and it was about how to treat the universe like an ATM. So I got a lot of new followers. If this is your first time on my live, hello. Again, my lives are always at the same time. I always show up for everybody who's doing the 60-day challenge. If you're doing the challenge, please be prepared to fall in love with the process of improving yourself. Okay, you have to work on the challenge every single day. And most people in my group who you're going to see on this live, especially if they have the circle and the infinity sign. The circle stands for us being a group. The infinity sign stands for infinite power that we can channel in our group. And if you see anybody like that, they've probably been doing the work for a while with me. I started this account in March and the challenge in May. So it hasn't been years, but it's been a few months and people have seen incredible progress in their own lives. And I know you can as well. Fall in love with the process of improving yourself again and watch my previous lives. If possible, just put them in the background when you're doing your makeup or when you're cooking, just to get a sense of where the group is at and what questions I take up. Usually people email me, and if I find the email is beneficial to the group, I'll read it and I will provide input. I usually pick the emails, obviously, that have pertinence to more than one person. The Facebook group, each week we have a manifestation challenge for the group. I announce it publicly. You can participate in it even if you're not part of the group. In fact, the $2,000 challenge that I launched on September 14th, 2 people who were not part of the group emailed me and I put testimonial on the Facebook group about having achieved it just by setting the intention to be part of the group's energy. So this last week's challenge, I give you a week to fulfill the challenge. Last week's challenge was a black dog. And something positive and different happening in your professional lives. Congratulations to everybody who's seen, like large amount of people seen the dog. By the way, for all these manifestations, to avoid repeat posts, because I'm trying to keep the Facebook group very, very relevant, I do a pin and you have to comment your manifestation as a comment in that pin, okay, if you achieved it. Because I can't approve posts from, like 50, 60 people with a black dog, because it's too repetitive for everybody else in the group. So please, your manifestation going forward will need to be pinned. This week's manifestation is a gold pen in any shape or form in 3D. All our manifestations are 3D. If you see something online or a photo, that's not the same thing as manifesting it. And it's actually good practice for you to give it back, right? Good practice. When you think of $1,000, seeing, win $1,000 for life, or $1,000, like an image of $1,000 is not the same thing. So this is why you would reject that manifestation. This is practice to reject all your manifestations that are not in person. All your manifestations must be in person. So this week's manifestation is a gold pen. I hope it's clear. I'll also put it on Facebook. Again, pin your gold pen if you can take a photo. When you see it, align with the group energy. When you see it, remember, I acknowledge this is what I asked for, and send it back, send the energy back, your power back to the group, and just reconnect with the group. My lives are a combination of mindset and practical tips. I usually have notes for this lives. I don't just wing it. I want to talk about basically what people need, the information people need to take their manifestation to the next level. This account is probably not for people who are just off the law of assumption unless you tried it. I believe in the law of assumption. Unfortunately, I also believe that most people cannot easily make assumptions and stick to them consistently. This is why I have a different approach to the work, but you should try the law of assumption first. If it works for you, that's amazing. It doesn't work for most people because they keep falling back in 3D. They keep allowing their input to be from the output, from the situations, and they can't hold that assumption. So, what's this? Milana manifested 90K from the first time. Yes. So we should see a physical gold pen. Yes, you should. So I've just done a video right now about letting go of the how, just before I got on this live, a few minutes before. So I want you guys to watch it. But basically what I was saying in it, a lot of people ask me, how do you let go of the how? Okay, how do you really, which is key. It's key in manifestation to let go of the how. The way you let go of the how is you have to understand that your brain, which is a computing machine, cannot compute the proper path to your manifestation. Every time you try to think how I'm going to do it, just remind yourself, no, I can't do it. I can't do it because my mind cannot come up with the optimal solution. And I outline reasons as to why it can't in my video. But basically, it's because it doesn't know what it doesn't know. It's not aware of the factors and determining elements that it's missing information on in order to make that happen. And number two reason is because the situation always changes around you. There's other players, that other circumstances, things pop up, and you cannot constantly adjust your plan. Your computing power is not that great. The only computing power that's that great to make puzzle pieces fall into place is the infinite intelligence. It's not you. Okay? So you gotta decide now. Are you gonna do it, or is the infinite intelligence going to do it? Because you can manifest from your own mind and from 3D. For example, everybody knows how to save $1 million, right? If I give you 15 years and I tell you that they have financial tips, investment tips, real estate trading, real estate flipping. In 15 years, if you work hard, you are going to accumulate $1 million, at least in equity. That's the way to do it via your brain. If you want to do it faster, if you want the universe to surprise you, if you want large checks, but it's not really about the large checks, so I shouldn't say that. If you want the experiences that the money in the large checks can buy you, then you should focus differently. Do not let go of your brain, okay? There is a path between you and you spending 2 months in Europe like you want to, carefree. There's a path between you and your wedding day that you can't see right now when you're single and heartbroken. There's a path between you and no financial constraints, let's say, okay? Not necessarily $1 billion, but no financial worries. There's a path, okay? If you're trying to figure it out, you're doing it in 3D. So, again, I'll give you 15 years and you go online, you can learn how to earn $1 million in 15 years, how to accumulate it. It's not hard. You just got to consistently be at it. Most people don't want to wait 15 years. This is why we're here. All right. What's going on? Tell you where my shirt is from. I may tell you where my stuff is from soon. I don't know. I'm not collaborating with anyone, but I want to reach out to some people who do really good stuff. Okay, I don't want people to reach out to me because then I need to promote products I might not believe in, so I would never do that. But if I have something nice, if I want to tell you guys what it is, and I have a link in my bio that says books and products I recommend. I even recommend some stuff that I use day to day just because it's going to help. One of them was something to get rid of acne, that it really helped me get rid of my adult acne. How do you get the 60-day challenge and part of the Facebook group? The links are in my bio. If you want more information about my account, I also have a YouTube, and I also, you should go through this content first, just to see. I have a lot of free information if you want to be part of the challenge. I put it at a nominal cost. The idea is value for value. If you want to receive value, you should provide some value to the person that's giving you the value in order to most benefit from it. All right. So I had this video go viral on, I said, don't treat the universe like a person that gives you some money and then you have to be grateful. Treat the universe more like an impartial ATM machine that disperses money according to your instructions. And I got a lot of comments and it went kind of viral. So I'm taking up a lot of these comments because a lot of these comments have to do with help me understand more of the structure on how this could work for me, help me understand. And I saved about 30 messages, 30 comments that I want to go ahead and read. If you haven't watched the video, you might want to pause this live and go watch the video. I think it's like 3 minutes long, because you have to know what I'm talking about as I'm reading these comments. But I figured I would dedicate this live to money and manifesting money. Of course, everybody wants to manifest money. When people have money, they want to manifest more money. Let's see if I missed anything before I start, because usually when I start on these things, I just talk continuously. Please tell me about the adult acne. The product I use is in the products I recommend in my link. And I don't collaborate with them. They don't pay me anything. I just shared with you queens to help you. It's pricey though, but it worked fantastically. Let's see. I'm going to get going done because I don't seem to have missed anything. So in this video, I said about the universe being the ATM, providing you money, and here I'm going to read some comments that came with it. So somebody says, what do you mean you have to know how to place the instruction? Well, you know, if you think of the universe like an ATM, when you enter the card inside the ATM, right? First you have to have the card, which is your right to access it. But then you also have to have the code. So the code, again, it would translate to your mind and heart connection, to your thoughts, speech, and heart. And I want you guys to, you know, a lot of people ask me, how do you place the instruction? Well, think of any negative scenario, financial scenario you have in your life right now. How have you placed that instruction? You just got to do it in reverse. And the way you place an instruction in order to create a life situation is by aligning your vision, your speech, and your heart. And we do this very, very easily in the negative. Very easily. And I'm going to tell you how. You envision a negative scenario. You're not going to have rent money for next month. You're feeling fear and you speak about it. I don't have the money for next month. Where am I? Economy's bad. I don't have. So the moment you, even for a minute, you see the scenario of being kicked out of your apartment, you speak about that possibility and you feel in your heart something coherent to it, and something coherent to it is your fear, you're aligned. You're aligned. So that's how you've placed the instruction. And you know what? You'll probably get kicked out of your apartment because you're aligned, right? So check yourself for these 3 points. I've been talking about this for months. Is your vision what you envision, and your speech and your heart aligned? Now, you might think about riches and you might think about an abundant life. But if you still have fear, and if you still talk to your friend about how hard life is, or to your mom, or if you still talk to people, if people come to you and say the economy is shit, I don't think most Americans, North Americans, will afford their lives going forward. Yes, you're right. You're right. You just placed agreement. You placed agreement with somebody. So now that your speech develops with the other, a matching image will come to mind. And in your heart, you'll have fear. Yeah, I'll never be able to buy a house. I'll never be able to afford retirement. Whatever else you tell yourself. Again, this is how you place instructions. 1, 2, 3 have to be in alignment. Are we clear? 1, 2, 3. Vision, speech, heart. Check yourself for every single negative circumstance in your life and see how all these things are aligned. You imagine he's going to cheat on you. You have the fear in your heart. You spoke about it. All men are cheaters. Every man is. It comes true. It comes true. He's I don't know. I feel like I'm losing him. You imagine him with another girl. You imagine him scrolling at another girl. You feel pain in your heart. You're aligned. You're aligned, right? That's how it works with money as well. I hope I'm clear on that. Okay. Number 2. Do you affirm and feel thankfulness for that amount you received before it comes to 3D? Here's the thing. I never suggest anybody focuses on an amount. And if you follow my content, I even said, my theory is that the universe doesn't even understand numbers in a sense that they relate to money. So what the universe understands, I think, is what you want to do with those numbers. Because every time I focused on what I wanted to do with those numbers, I got to do those things. So I want you guys to understand, do you affirm and feel thankfulness for the amount? I wouldn't think of an amount. No. I would think of a situation getting resolved. I would think of a life experience I want to have. I would think of a house upgrade I want to have. I would think of a new car. I would think of anything that you would do that amount of money. If you follow my content, you know, my personal manifestation right now in the last few months is $1 million, but I've already spent it in my mind. Like a one-shot $1 million, not like I have to sell my assets. Like but already in my mind, that amount has been allocated. Get it? So my mind, the instruction is this has been, the amount has been placed. Let's see. Just too lazy. Okay. Somebody else says, I had been manifesting so long that I got mad. I knew I deserved what I was asking. I screamed out of anger for the universe to respond, and then it did. Then I got the money. Of course, this goes back to letting go of the how. Now, it doesn't mean that just because you're now learning this technique to scream to the universe, it's going to work for you. No, in this frustration that this queen was feeling, she knew she deserved what she was asking. She screamed out of anger. In this frustration, what has happened is she actually let go of the how. Until then, she was still petitioning. She was still trying to figure out the how. And in frustration, she yells, oh my God, I guess this is not coming through. It only takes 1 second of letting go. But it doesn't mean you should wait to randomly that second happens to you. It may not. You have to practice how to let go. Please see the video that I posted today. I screamed for support, somebody says now, and money, and got into an accident, got 18K. So be careful. Yeah, this happens. If you don't, this is why I'm saying you have to do it with practice, because when you do it with practice and to the highest benefit of all and everything else we're doing in this group and with harm to none, then it's very different, right? I also know a queen who said she's going to lose 40 pounds in 5 months, and she got a huge gallbladder issue. She couldn't eat anything. She lost 46 pounds in 6 months and had to have surgery. So it all can happen via a negative scenario, for sure. For sure, if you don't do this work consciously, but somehow you've let go of the how. I told you guys, the universe is neutral. Until you understand this, it's completely neutral. That's why it returns to the evil person. That's why it returns to the good person. It doesn't matter. If you step off a building, the law of gravity will carry you to the ground, whether you're a good person or a bad person. Whichever the circumstances, it's the same with these laws, right? It's the same with manifestation. Please understand. You got to be very clear. Yeah. All right. Next, somebody says, you all got too much time in your hands. Repent and believe in Jesus Christ. All this spiritual bullshit is not real. Okay. So, they're both real. Okay. And I outlined for whoever's following me the structure of the world that I understood via years of practice, meditation, and reading. Okay. We have the creator. We have the formless substance, which we call the universe, the infinite intelligence, the substance out of which that permeates everything and creates everything, energy that can turn into matter, basically technology. And then we have us in the 3D world. Okay, 1, 2, 3. And the formless substance, this thing in the middle, the universe, the infinite intelligence, can be accessed via both sides. Okay, obviously to different degree. The creator, if you want to call Jesus Christ, you can bypass, right? Or you can place your own instruction. Now, to bypass, you really have to have faith. And it is easier to do it that way, okay? But unfortunately, most people can't do it that way anymore. Or most people, even if they grew up religious, they have so much shame in sin and being unworthy that they can't access it from this side. So what I am teaching is accessing it from our side. Of course, can miracles happen, and can you go around, and can you don't have to deny the existence of a higher power. But if right now, based on where you are with your worthiness, with your set of belief, you don't have faith in that high power, then you petitioning that high power is useless unless you have absolute faith that A, it is powerful, and B, it's benevolent towards you. If you're thinking that it's punishing you, well, you're not going to get what you want, and there's no point in accessing this high power, right? All right. Somebody else says, you know you have this right to ask. There is the problem. You know you don't have the right to ask because you haven't done all that is necessary. So I say in the video, you know you have the right to ask. This person says, there is the problem. You know you don't have the right to ask because you haven't done what is necessary. I saved this because this is deep, okay? So this person is saying there's a feeling of unworthiness in most people that prevents them from thinking that they actually have the right to ask. And this is not untrue, okay? So he's saying, you know you don't have the right to ask because you haven't done what is necessary. Whether your set of beliefs is based on religion, as in you haven't done what is necessary because, you know, you haven't prayed hard enough, you haven't done your practices, or whether your set of beliefs is spiritual, you know, you haven't cleared your energy, you know, you haven't meditated, you know, you haven't done the work in the 60-day challenge, you know, you haven't, you know. So he's saying you don't have the right to ask. So it's true. If you approach and ask knowing that you kind of don't have a right to ask, it's not going to work. You have to be convinced that you have the right to ask, and you have to do what is necessary. She's right or he's right. You have to do what is necessary to convince yourself that you have the right to ask. Think about this. This is deep. This is deep. Do you have the right to ask based on the value you're placing on yourself right now? Or do you feel you still have work to do in order to have the right to ask? This may be the reason why your request is not being fulfilled. Somebody else says, reading the comments, I see why the universe didn't bless you all. You all lack gratitude and love. You have to be pure and meditate every day and vibrate. It's not easy, but it's not hard. You need to be consistent about it. Well, this person is correct in saying it's not easy, but it's not hard. Okay, I agree with that. And you do need to be consistent about it. Whether you meditate, whether you pray, whether you vibrate, or you script, whether you visualize, do whatever is necessary for your belief system to align the vision with the speech and the heart. And the easiest thing to control is your speech, by the way. Please catch yourself when you say the opposite of what you actually want. When you agree to somebody about a circumstance that you know you don't want to agree, you don't want to come true in your life. Yeah, all men are cheaters. Well, do you want that to come true in your life? Don't speak it. Yeah, the economy is really bad. We're not going to be able to afford anything pretty soon. Pay attention. Catch yourself. Catch yourself. And have sort of like, maybe even like a physical practice to reroute your nervous system when you catch yourself saying something like this. I don't know, just like pinch your little fingers, or have something like really like a real nervous system stimuli, and to be like, no, you know, no, have something physical. I don't want to say like pull a strand of your hair, but that's more obvious. Just pinch your finger or do something. Just say, no, I didn't say that. That's not my thought form. That's somebody else's thought form. Okay. I always say that if I envision a negative scenario without realizing, when I realize it, I'm like, no, that's not my thought form. I don't know where this is coming from. It's not mine. Give it back. Give it back. Oh, okay. Somebody asked me on a video that I've done on online dating, because I do practical tips for my queens as well. So isn't online dating a limiting belief that you can't meet somebody organically? So I said it's a limiting belief that you can't meet somebody organically, in the same sense that believing you must buy a lottery ticket to win $50 million is a limiting belief. Of course, you don't need to buy a lottery ticket to get $50 million. But it sure is easier, isn't it? It's sure more inviting of the opportunity, right? So the more you expand, this is the only comment for some reason I had on online dating, because it's about limiting beliefs. The only reason, okay, you would multiply the avenues via which something can come to you is that so it can come to you faster. So it's not a limiting belief at all, except in the sense that, yeah, anything can happen without opening all these avenues, okay? With just keeping one avenue open. You have to keep something open, because inspired action is part of manifestation. But the more you open them, the more likely it is to come, right? For me, it worked. So somebody says about the money video. For me, it worked for small amounts, and I always thank the universe for having my back. I always advise everybody to start with small amounts. Okay, you don't know what your mind is, the amount that you're requesting from the universe. Or again, like I said, I don't focus on amounts now. Like I focus on what I want to do with that amount. It has to be believable to you. It has. So start with $100, start with $1,000, start with something $500, start with something that's absolutely believable to you. That, okay, it's not that hard to get an additional $200 or $500. Okay, go through my group. People manifested, like how many people we had manifesting the $2,000 challenge out of nowhere with the strangest stories, you know, just like really strange stories, because that's how manifestation works. It just like, you just, if you know the how, again, if you know the how, you're doing it from 3D. Can we want money to pay debt? Or is that focusing on the lack? I just don't ask for money. Try it my way for 60 days if you're doing the challenge, and I know you are, Rashna. Do it my way, okay? Just say all my debts have been paid. But don't focus on asking for the money to pay for your debt. I have zero debt. I have zero, like I don't have any debt. I don't owe any. I'm always, like, there's a phrase from the Bible, I think, but it works for everybody. I'm always a lender, never a borrower. Okay, I'm always a lender, never a borrower. All your debts have been paid. Exactly. And now you're a lender. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that wonderful? Because you want to help people. All right. So somebody says, I was asking for $10,000 and your video is at 999 saves. And when I hit save it, it switched to 10,000. Guys, pay attention. This is important. What should she do in this case? Those who follow me for a while will know the answer to this. You have to give it back immediately. Immediately. Just say, no. This is not the 10K I was scripting about, right? If I write 10 and a K, and then she clicks on the video about money, okay, and she's at 10K, the universe thinks, and then she's also leaving this as a comment. Oh, and then I got the 10K. No, you didn't. Please give it back. It's like when I initially set out to manifest this $1 million and I found $1 million note on the ground. This is crazy. Like I have a video on that and with proof. And then I saved it and I put it on my vision board and I had it there for about 8 months. Then I realized, my God, I've accepted this as a manifestation of my $1 million. So I brought it on a live. I made it a teaching story, but it took me like months to realize that's what I had done. And then I ripped it on the live and I said, no, you haven't fulfilled. Get back to the drawing board. Bring me $1 million. This wasn't it. But it's an example of how we accept things. And the universe is thinking, oh, okay, I give it to her. She accepted. She was grateful. She thought I was amazing. She was like, she picked up the $1 million bill. She was like, wow, this is amazing. The universe is like, I've done well. I've done well. I gave her the $1 million. It doesn't understand our concept of money, because our concept of money is not natural. It's human made. It's fake, right? So it doesn't understand. Stay on the experiences. Stay on envisioning the life you want to have. This is not dissimilar to the law of assumption, but a lot of people can't sustain that assumption for a long period of time. So I'm sort of deconstructing here the way your mind has to work. And of course, everybody's at a different level, right? Everybody has a different set of fundamental beliefs that they're basing their whole lives on. This is why I came up with 6 new premises that you should base your life on in the 60-day challenge in my bio, and everybody who's doing it knows that. But you really have to understand on what principles your life is based upon. Yesterday in the Facebook group, I had a comment from a queen, and she said, I'm trying to manifest, and she has some real money issues. She's saying, I'm trying to manifest, and then I think my problem is I'm also begging God at the same time, because I have a heavy religious background and I have a heavy. So look, guys, you have to define what I told her. Sorry, guys, don't call me. I don't take calls during my lives. So I told you guys, define the structure under which your manifestation can work, whether it's religion, whether it's otherwise, but do not flip-flop through these concepts. Okay? Because what happens is, if you have a strong religious background that you want to carry through life, I'm not telling you should or you shouldn't. There's plenty of people who manifested just by belief in God, right? Just by belief that God will fulfill it for them. A lot of people can't do that anymore, again, because of our new programming, which is materialistic, right? We live in a materialistic world. We evolved from a single cell organism, and we don't mean much. We're a speck of dust into a meaningless universe, right? Or into a meaningful universe, but we're still a speck of dust. So you have to pick yourself up from wherever you're at right now. You can't force a religious belief, a God belief, if you don't have that, if you didn't grow up with that. So this doesn't mean you can't access the formless substance like we discussed. You absolutely can. Again, the formless substance is technology, the infinite intelligence that the universe, okay? It's technology, and it's there to be accessed. Now, you can do it, okay? Without God. This doesn't mean like without, by denying God, because it's still God who created it, okay? But with ignoring the purpose of why God created it, because you're not going to understand the purpose of God's creation anyways, not with your human apparatus and brain. You're not, unless you have a sort of mystical experience. And even with that, you don't know if you reach 0.0001% of the understanding of what's going on, right? And I don't even believe our human apparatus is capable of understanding. So define the structure under which your world works. If you pray to God, and if you pray to God, just say, Lord, you have made me to enjoy this life and to return a good experience to you. For that, I need all my needs to be met. You always meet all my needs. You have never left me. All my needs are always met. I'm still standing. I still have a phone via which to watch TikTok, which means I am doing better than 90% of the world's population. 90%, okay? I am top 10%, top 20% of the world's population, just by having this $1,000 phone, just by, having running water and electricity, okay? And so my needs are as follows. I need to keep living in this apartment without any worries. I need to have food for a long amount of time for the rest of my life. I need, remember the Maslow theory, hierarchy of needs. If you guys haven't watched that video, it's on my YouTube. If you're at the bottom 2 levels, all you should be focusing on is exiting the bottom 2 levels. You're not worried about the top. But give me a second and I'll try to address that. Okay? Just pray to God and say, Lord, you know how to meet all my needs. Listen to, preachers and whatever your religion is, imams. Listen to the way they preach and let those words come into your heart. If you don't have that religious background, you don't want to turn to that religious background, understand that there's a structure to this world to which you have a right, okay? And you need to drop all these unworthy elements. The way you do this is you look at people that have what you want to have in this life, okay? People who are married and you want to be married and you're not married. And you look at them and sort of write out a list how you're different than them. How are you different than them? Okay, like who makes money in this world? Who does? Crypto guys, corrupt politicians, people who own factories where children work, evil people. Who are these people who have money? Celebrities who you have to sell your soul for money. Please sit down to uncover your limiting beliefs. If you come up with a list of people that are very different than you, now you know why you don't have money. Right? Beautiful people. Maybe you don't see yourself as beautiful. Slim people. I want you to be very, very clear and honest as to how you're different than the people who have what you want. Who are the people who get to spend their summer in Europe? Who are the people who get to travel, who have their expenses paid, who are these people? Write about them and be like, wow, I'm really I hold myself very differently than these people. Why is that, right? Deconstruct your mind. You have to do more work if you don't believe in God. Yeah. It's easier to believe, right? It's easier. But what I want you to have faith in is that this process works for everybody, because God has left this infinite intelligence here to take care of us. I am 100% convinced that God is benevolent. And it's just that, if you're a parent, you'll understand this. If you could make your children act like robots and do whatever it is that you're thinking that they should do, you wouldn't do it on a day-to-day basis. If you could think, oh, Johnny's going to open his mouth and he's going to say, I love you. And Johnny opens his mouth and says, I love you. That existence would be an existence of despair for you, because then he wouldn't be real with his free will. With what your child returns to you is this, it's not something you can make them do, right? So it's the same thing with understanding as to, oh, but why God allows, why is that God allow? God wants you to access this technology. Now, I also believe there's forces in this world, people in this world, or who knows what else, that has erased our knowledge on how to access the formless substance. Okay, and only by, it's not like I was granted this knowledge, right? It's only by trial and error that some of us really understand it more than others and are able to bring forth something out of an energetic system and teach others how to do it. It doesn't mean it's going to work for you automatically. You have to deconstruct your mind and understand where the limiting beliefs are. Okay, and understand that there's things that you don't know yet. You don't allow your mind to be like, I don't have enough information yet. So, but I believe this path is there for me. And I believe I'm going to reach this path. No matter what, I'm going to somehow reach this path. But I just want to stop thinking about the how. I want to stop thinking because I don't have enough information to unfold it. Right? That's if you can't leave it to God. All right, where were we? Somebody says your underlying programming is that you are unworthy, so you feel wrong when asking. Yeah, exactly. Again, we're talking about my viral video on the universe works like an ATM and why it doesn't work for people. So she's saying your underlying programming as why are you unworthy and you feel wrong when asking. A lot of people have left comments as to how do I get over the guilt of asking, of even asking. How do I get over the guilt? I feel guilty even wanting something. Okay? And it's like the way you get rid of that is by realizing how absolutely insane this guilt is that it even exists in your mind. Right? Like, how do you get over the guilt of going for a walk today when there's so many people in wheelchairs? Or how do you get over the guilt of seeing the natural beauty of the fall colors when so many people are blind? How do you get over this guilt? You wouldn't even think to have this guilt, right? Because you're thinking, I am worthy and deserving to go for a walk, to watch nature, to enjoy all these things, right? So it's the same idea. What is this? You have to rationalize and reason with yourself. Okay, this guilt is for more like this rational people that, it's how do you get over this guilt? It's unnatural that you have it. That's how you get over it. It's unnatural. Why should you have guilt about wanting a beautiful experience, about wanting to be married, about wanting a good man, about wanting to be provided for, about wanting, this is how you get over it. You have to contemplate it. Okay, you have to write a different story and contemplate. And when this limiting belief comes up, just say, this is so unnatural. This is so who put this thing in my mind? Who the heck? I know I wasn't born with this guilt. I wasn't born with this guilt. So who put it in my mind? I'm letting go of it. And this is not a practice you do one time and then you scratch it. I've done it. It's not a magical ritual. You really have to understand where your mind is at. What are the fundamental principles that govern your mind? Maybe the fundamental principle that governs your mind is, in order to for God to return or for the universe to return, I have to do good first. And I haven't really done good for others. And just this simple fundamental belief that you haven't contributed to the world can prevent anything from coming to you, because subconsciously you might be running. You see how subtle that is? Maybe God just gives to the very, very good or the very, very evil. Maybe that's the only way people can make money in this world. Let's think about it. Unpack yourself, write it out. Do my challenge, do another practice. Whatever it is you do, it has to be done every day. Guys, it has to be done every single day. You have to fall in love with the process of understanding yourself, of improving yourself, and of putting yourself first. Because when you do this process, you're going to show up better for everybody in your life. And for everybody that you're going to meet going forward, you're going to show up better, right? How many times a day? As many times as is needed, right? The premises that I outline in the 60-day challenge should be said throughout the day. That's why I told you guys, print them and put them everywhere. This is different than your goals. Your goals may be, I want to live in a mansion with a pool and 5 bedrooms. That's not what I'm talking about. The premise. What's your life based on? Everything works out for me all of the time. I always get what I want or better. Yeah, it's a complete reprogramming. But you cannot reprogram something you don't understand, guys. You cannot reprogram something you don't understand, because not everybody has guilt based on sins and religions, right? Some people just think, well, this is my animal nature, and of course, it's natural for me that I don't know, I've been with 200 women. Okay, this and then could be the other guy who's like, oh my God, God is punishing me because I committed adultery. Right? I've been with my wife and one other person. So these are total, you have to understand what you're reprogramming, right? You have to understand the set of principles upon which your life is based, and where you have guilt, where you have limiting beliefs, where you have shame. Fear, guilt, and shame are the most damaging of all emotions, okay? And they're the most prevalent as well. I would say everybody in this world, everybody, not everybody has love in their hearts, but everybody has some fear, some guilt, some shame. Everybody. Okay? Somebody else says, sorry, I don't even know where I am here. Hello? Then the universe is some kind of idiot who does not understand the needs and praise. Okay, so basically I was saying, if you ask for $1,000, you get $200. You got to tell the universe you still owe me $800. And this person says, then the universe is some kind of idiot who does not understand the needs and praise. Or the universe understands your exact instruction and you're not providing the correct instruction. So it is not, if it's between you and the universe, I would say, how are you assuming it's the universe that's the idiot? Maybe the universe is just executing on the idiot's instruction. All right. I guess the only way is simply practice until we reprogram that limiting feeling and belief. Yes. Yes. You gotta practice, but this is what I'm saying. Start small. Start with small, very visible manifestation. This week's manifestation for my group is a gold pen. Because when you see these manifestations come through, and not just for you, but for like 50 other people in the group, you know something's working here. So if you can do it with a gold pen, if you can do it with a black dog, if you can do it with $500 or whatever else people have manifested in my group, then it's the same thing for everything. But you got to start small and see this unfolding in front of you to build your belief. Somebody says, also on my video, these are all comments from my video that's called The Universe is an ATM that I posted Friday. He says, who created the universe? Well, the creator created the universe, king. Again, the structure being the creator, the universe, infinite intelligence, technology, and us, the 3D world. Okay, so we are printed from the formless substance. Initially, based on the creator's instructions, but then based on our free will. Okay, so it's not a question as to who created, or my teachings and the whole game of mindset permits for a creator and permits for a religious belief and a religious practice, right? It permits for that. I can't even think of it not being a creator, right? Of the universe, of this technology, but clearly we can access it. Clearly we have major coincidences when we start being consistent about this work. So clearly we have access to some technology. It's not like God sitting there, let me give her a gold pen. You know, that's so trivial. That's obviously me accessing something that's energetic and bringing forward that energy into form, right? It's not, it doesn't compute that, it's God who should give you these trivial things in life. It doesn't compute. I would assume he has bigger things to do. All right. I want the financial resources to retire now, and if possible, I also want to retire my family. Listen to that again. I want the financial resources to retire now, and if possible, I want to retire my family. Who are you talking to, Queen, when you put these comments? Who are you talking to? Who are you saying I want? I don't have the financial resources to retire now. And if possible, I want to retire. If possible, who are you talking to? If possible, please, if possible. Is it possible or not? You have to decide if it's possible. You're the one who's decided that. This is what people don't understand. The power exists, but you have to appropriate it. What do you mean if it's possible? If you're wondering if it's possible, if you're doubting this process, it's not possible. It's not. It might happen randomly, you know? But you have to really think about the way you speak, about the way you write, about comments that you put out there in the, you know, I think like the internet, and this is like everything that you put down has to have a purpose, okay? When you're spewing hate or when you're spewing, you know, it's an instruction you provide. Think of the internet as our interconnectedness with one another. It'll come back to you. Don't put unnecessary comments. Be very careful on how you speak and think, is this comment really aligned with what? Is this way of speaking really aligned with bringing me what it is I want? Right? This live will be posted on my YouTube channel if you want to watch it from the beginning. I'm taking up all the questions. It's all money related from my video, The Universe is Like an ATM, and how to access it. So I post all of my lives on my YouTube channel after they end. Okay. Another comment. You're asking capitalistic spirits to give you money and blocking good spirits from helping you in the long run. So again, this comes down to the way you see the world. Is the world formed of capitalistic spirits and good spirits? You have to decide what the structure of the world is. If you're thinking of the world as there's all these energetic forms that dictate our lives, then yeah, you can only ask the good spirits, and in the long term, whatever that is, these good spirits, they're funny that way, huh? They never want to give us anything right away, right? It has to be in the long term. If you got something fast, if you set out $1 million, you scratch a ticket, you get $1 million, it must be from a bad spirit. The good spirits are not in the spirit of immediate giving. You got to really analyze your fears, guys. Your fears. Maybe the reason it's not coming to you is because you would believe it comes from something evil. If it does. A lot of people have this belief about money. Money is evil, and if you get a lot of it very fast, something bad's going to happen. You made a deal with the devil. Do you have that belief? If you do, whatever in you is fighting for self-preservation will prevent money from coming to you, because it believes it will have a very negative outcome. Okay? So, somebody else says, I feel you, I guess in response to somebody else, I feel you, I have the same problem, I feel guilty for asking. We talked about that, but I want to highlight how people do have a struggle with feeling guilty for asking, or feeling, which is the same thing as feeling unworthy of asking. Somebody else says, there's no manifest, only trade deals. No one is getting something for nothing. No one can cheat the law of karma. Again, goes back to the structure of the world. If you're making a deal, who you're making a deal with, and if it's a trade deal, why is it that it can't be a trade deal with someone who is who's benevolent towards you? Why are all the deals having to be with some evil entity that later is going to take something for you? Let's think about this. Okay, somebody says, can powers be manifested? No, powers cannot be manifested. We all have them, but they can be reactivated. How can they be reactivated? Number one, you have to deconstruct your mind, understand where you place blocks. Number two, you have to meditate, contemplate, script, do a lot of reprogramming of those unlimiting beliefs. Number three, you have to be able to function in the 3D world while acknowledging every time you're triggered and undoing those triggers, so you cannot react to 3D the same way that you've always reacted. Okay? Number four, you got to spend a lot of time with just allowing for the universe to speak to you, allowing for the best course of action to come to you. Just understanding that you can't always struggle against the flow, right? You have to accept certain things. Any outcome should be okay with you guys. You know, in the process of you going from single to married, you should accept any outcome. Okay, so if you meet a guy you really like but he dumps you, that wasn't the guy, you're accepting this outcome. Okay, because you're like, okay, I'm one step closer to being married. You meet another guy, it doesn't work out, or you don't like him, but I really want to be married. No, hang on a second, right? Any outcome is okay. As long as you put in your mind, I'm happily married, you're gonna get there. You're gonna get there. I guarantee you that, okay? But you cannot be like, how can I manifest him back? How can I Dude, that crumbling of that situation had to happen for you to fulfill your final goal. Okay? Your final goal is what? What do you want from this man? What do you want? It's just a parallel. All right, let's stay focused on money. We only have a few more minutes here. Keep this live to 1 hour. Somebody says, is literally a computer system and we're all characters in the game processing downloads. It's incredible. Sure, you can think of it that way. Again, goes back to the structure of the world. You can think of it that way, no problem. Computer game, movie script, simulation, 3D created by a creator that's benevolent, that allows us free will. They're all the same concepts if you think about it. They're all concepts under which you are responsible for reality. You are responsible for reality, and you're responsible for the way reality unfolds in your own personal life. So if you focus on the micro, which is you will have results really fast. The world tries to pull you in the macro a lot and tell you everything that's not working in this world. Keep your focus. Look what's on the news, right? Keep your focus. Keep you feeling powerless. So I'm powerless about this new war that's going on right now. I'm powerless, and look how bad it is. Look how little God loves us. Look how little influence we have over events, right? If you focus on the micro, what you'll produce for this world is a person who is better, who doesn't have triggers, who doesn't have reactions, who's in a state of peace. And imagine if enough momentum can be picked up and enough people could be in the state of peace, what would be unfolding? Imagine that. Somebody else says, believing that you deserve it and demanding from the universe is different. I found it to be creating resistance. Correct. So she's saying believing that you're deserving and demanding from the universe is different. Yes, if you demand it, not believing that you deserve it is creating resistance. But if you're demanding while believing that you deserve it, that's not creating resistance. That's just the ATM accessing. So somebody else says, so is feeling also a part of the concept, meaning that I know how it feels to hold $1,000 instead of $100,000. Guys, somebody asked me, has this worked for me with amounts of $100,000? And I did a video proving that it did. I never in my life imagined myself holding $100,000. You would never get $100,000 in cash. That would be very, very odd. And do not put in your mind something like that, okay? Please do not keep your mind on an amount. Do not do these things like feeling money in your hand. Money is not real. It's just something that you trade for what you really want. Okay? I don't want pieces of paper. What do you mean holding $100,000? I would feel so uncomfortable holding $100,000. This doesn't mean I didn't get it in my account. This doesn't mean it's just numbers. Okay, what are you doing with this? Stop feeling money. Stop imagining money. Stop putting money on this pedestal. It's not about the money. What do you do with the $1,000? All of my needs are met. All of my rent is paid on time. That's what you do with the $1,000. What do you do with the $100,000? Maybe all of my debts are paid. Maybe I spend the summer in Europe. Whatever it is you want to do. Get it? Get the difference? That's the mindset difference. Oh my God. If we ask the universe for $1,000 and we only get $200 instead of being grateful and saying thank you, what should we do and say? Again, this is based on the fact that you know $1,000 should not be a problem for you to get. Nobody should have a problem believing they deserve $1,000. You gotta tell the universe, that's not what I asked for. This is not what I asked for. You're missing 800. I'm going to need all my needs met. There's no reason why other people like me's needs are met and my need is not met. Think of somebody that you think equivalent to you who's having their needs met. Okay, think of a woman who's like you, or you see her as maybe not even as good as you, who has the husband that you want. And just say, the same way it can happen for this person, it can happen for me. There's no reason me is a no and this person is a yes. So I'm happy it's a yes for them. So it's a yes for me as well. Okay, 1 second. I gotta put in the password again. I thought you meant to talk like you already have it. Yes, that would be easier. That's the law of assumption. People can't do it, Queen. People can't do it. If people could talk about and hold the vibration of already having it, they would manifest it, but people can't. Because the example I always give, you can assume all you want that you have $50 million, because in 5 minutes you're going to go to the grocery store and you're going to check the price of cherries and you're going to say they're too expensive. So you dropped immediately out of having it. You can't do it consistently. I don't think so. That's why most people fail with the law of assumption. So what would you do with the 200 you receive out of the 1,000? You can keep it. You just got to make sure the instruction in the universe is you have them fulfilled. I'm not accepting this, right? I didn't accept my $1 million in one paper note that I found on the ground when I put for $1 million. Well, I did accept it for a few months. Then I had to redo the ask, right? Let's see. Is this how we hold the energy? I've been saying this term a lot. I've been seeing this term a lot recently, especially among online coaches. Is this how you hold the energy? So holding the energy is living in that assumption of everything being fulfilled. So I feel like this answer, I already answered this in terms of holding the energy. What most people have trouble with is releasing the limiting beliefs more so than holding the energy. Once you release those limiting beliefs, holding the energy will not be very difficult. Will not, because all of a sudden I'm like, wait a second, I'm as good as everybody else that, like has a ring on their finger or has, $5,000 in their checking bank account. I'm as good as them. So now it's easy for me to hold the energy, right? Because I've dropped my limiting beliefs that there's something wrong with me, that somehow other people can have these little things and I can't have these little things, right? It's not, I'm not placing that much importance on these things because all of my needs should be met. And I should also have a spouse that cares about me, right? Why is it that you think that you don't have this right? Why is it that you think so holding the energy is difficult on top of limiting beliefs. It's very difficult, right? When you're feeling unworthy, but you have to hold the energy that it's coming. It's just like two repelling forces, like it's a war inside of you. Okay, I think I have time for just one more. Somebody says, by the universe, do you mean rich men? Look, the universe can return in 1,000 different ways. And I say 1,000, for reference, but, any way the universe returns, you shouldn't be attached to how the universe returns, as long as the universe returns with harm to none. So if you get to live in that mansion because you met a rich man, why not? Okay? Do not be specifically attached on the how. What if I feel worthy but every guy leaves me? I will touch up more on this I didn't finish all the questions on the money. So my lives are twice a week. My next live is Thursday at 7 p.m. They're always at the same time. Monday 12 p.m., Thursday 7 p.m. I'll finish this and I'll get a bit more in the relationship area. Please, for anybody new who's doing the 60-day challenge, who signed up with me this weekend, please make sure, the cost is like nominal. Please make sure you do the work every single day. I had a testimonial today. Somebody said it's day one and I already got a little miracle. So I love that. No, it's Eastern Standard Time. All my lives are also posted on YouTube, but if you want me to take up your question, obviously you have to be on the live. Guys, at the end of every live, I do a tapping. I do the 369 tapping with I Am a Winner. It takes 30 seconds. If you want to do it with us, let's do it. I'll do it now. If you don't want to do it, this is the end of our lives, of today's live, and we'll see you on Thursday. Let's put our hands together. One breath. I am a winner. 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 I am a winner.